Every star says your name without making a sound, and somehow the whole sky still knows you better than I do. The city finally fell asleep, but heaven left the lights awake. I counted every constellation, trying to count my own mistakes. The moon kept pulling on the ocean, the night kept breathing soft and slow. Funny how the world kept turning when mine forgot where to go. Love never disappeared, maybe it's scattered across the sky, one light at a time, where the stars learn to night. That's where my heart still wanders. Every piece of midnight carries echoes of your wonder. I don't ask the heavens to bring you back to me. I only thank the universe for letting someone so beautiful exist. Shine just once more tonight. I found your favorite rooftop, still waiting above the town. The same old breeze, the same old skyline, only we're not there now. Someone else was holding hands there, laughing underneath the moon. For a second I felt jealous, then I smiled because love found them too. The stars never belong to anyone, yet somehow they still manage to make everyone feel seen. Where the stars learn to night, that's where my heart still wanders. Every piece of midnight carries echoes of your wonder. I don't ask the heavens to bring you back to me. I only thank the universe for letting someone so beautiful exist. If someday another lonely soul looks into the sky, searching for someone they lost, I hope these same stars whisper hope the way they whispered you. Where the stars learn to night is where my fear became peace. Not because I stopped missing you, but because missing you taught me how deeply a heart can love if every star eventually burns away. Your kindness will still be shining inside everyone you touch. Tonight I won't make another wish, because somewhere above me the stars already know your name. goodbye would last forever, but somehow flowers learn my name. Maybe broken hearts don't become ashes. Maybe they become gardens. Winter stayed longer than expected. Snow inside an April sky. Every road I used to follow ended where we said goodbye. I wore silence like a heavy coat, carried storms inside my chest, certain nothing beautiful would ever grow again. Then one morning, without warning, the cold forgot my door. Tiny colors found the places where tears had fallen before. Your goodbye grew into spring, blooming where my heart was broken. Every petal whispered softly, love was never truly stolen. You didn't stay, but somehow your kindness did. Now every flower carries a little piece of everything we lived again. My heart I noticed birds outside my window singing songs I'd never heard. Funny how the smallest moments can heal the deepest hurt. I laughed without apologizing, watched the sunrise paint the hills for the first time in forever. Hope arrived, completely still. Maybe healing isn't moving on. Maybe healing is learning to grow around the empty places without losing who they loved. Your goodbye grew into spring, blooming when my heart was broken. Every petal whispered softly, love was never truly stolen. You didn't stay, but somehow your kindness did. Now every flower carries a little piece of everything we live. If someone's walking through their longest winter tonight, tell them the trees look empty only because they're quietly preparing to bloom. Your goodbye grew into spring, not because the pain disappeared, but because the tears became the rain that helped me become someone who could love even more deeply than before. And every blossom that opens under April skies reminds me some endings secretly planned, the most beautiful beginnings. Thank you for this season we couldn't keep, because somehow it taught my heart how to bloom again. little like you. Not because you're here, but because you taught the light how to find me. Morning slips between the curtains, painting gold across the floor. The room feels just a little warmer than it ever did before. Your old coffee cup is gone now, yet I still pour two by mistake. Then I laugh and watch the daylight slowly wash the night away. Maybe hope always arrives quietly, like the sun, never asking to be noticed. Every sunrise looks a little like you, soft enough to heal what's left inside. Every golden ray reminds me love can never truly say goodbye. You're the warmth upon my shoulders, you're the color in the sky. Every sunrise looks a little like you, and somehow so does life. Stay inside the light a little longer. I passed the little park this morning, children chasing summer air. Someone played an old guitar and happiness was everywhere. For the first time I stopped wondering if I'd ever feel complete, because I found your gentle kindness walking quietly beside me. You became the morning after every longest night, not returning, just reminding me the dark never wins. Every sunrise looks a little like you, soft enough to heal what's left inside. Every golden ray reminds me love can never truly say goodbye. You're the warmth upon my shoulders, you're the color in the sky. Every sunrise looks a little like you, and somehow so does life. If tomorrow brings another dawn, I'll open every window. Not because I'm waiting for you, but because you taught me beautiful things always return as light. Every sunrise looks a little like you, brighter than the tears we left behind. Every new beginning whispers that forever isn't measured by time. You became the hope I carry, the calm beneath my restless mind. Every sunrise looks a little like you, and every sunrise helps me find mine. Good morning, wherever you are. The sun still remembers us. I searched the whole world until silence spoke with your voice. I never lost you, I only forgot how quiet love can be. days that passed me by, I wore out roads with restless footsteps, still asking every painted sky. I open boxes full of memories, read old letters line by line, never knowing what I needed wasn't behind me, it was inside. Some answers never shout, they bloom like morning light, touching every corner without making a sound. I found you in the quiet, between one heartbeat and the next, not inside forgotten photographs or words we'd never said. You were living inside every kindness you ever left with me. The silence wasn't empty, it was full of everything you used to be. Stay like the morning inside me. Now I smile a little softer, help strangers when they're feeling low, laugh the way you always laughed, at tiny things nobody knows. Sometimes I hear myself speaking, and suddenly I understand the pieces that I thought I'd lost have simply learned to wear my hands. Love never asks to be remembered, it quietly becomes the person who remembers. I found you in the quiet, where the loudest grief grows small, hidden in ordinary mornings, waiting through it all. Every gentle choice I make, every dream I still believe, you're no longer far away, you're becoming part of me. Maybe healing isn't leaving someone in the past. Maybe healing is carrying their light so carefully that one day you forget which heartbeat was first. I found you in the quiet, not at the ending, but the start. You were never trapped inside a memory. You were growing like a garden deep within my heart. And if someone asks where all our love is gone, I'll close my eyes, smile and whisper it finally found its home. The quiet never took you, it simply kept your voice safe until I was ready to hear it. If love never ends, then neither do we. Maybe forever isn't a place. Maybe it's every heart we changed. Years are folded like old letters, soft around their weathered seams. Time has carried us like rivers, far beyond our younger dreams. Still I find you in the smallest things, morning birds and open skies. Not because you're coming back, but because love never says goodbye. Every heartbeat leaves a rhythm long after the music fades. Every kindness plants a future we'll never live to see. If love never ends, neither do we. Where every sunset someone stops to see, where every gentle word that lifts a soul from pain. Love keeps becoming beautiful again and again. Live inside the light forever. Maybe someone years from now will smile without knowing why. Maybe hope will find a stranger on an ordinary night. Maybe every act of mercy carries pieces of our flame. Love keeps driving through the world, changing hearts without our names. And nothing precious is ever wasted. Even silence learns to sing. Even endings teach tomorrow how to begin. If love never ends, neither do we. Where every sunrise breaking quietly, where every open hand reaching through the dark. Love keeps writing new stories from one heart. My own stars fade one day. Don't search for me in the sky. Find me in the courage to forgive, in the strength to love again. That's where I'll always be. If love never ends, neither do we. Not because our names survive, but because the love we gave keeps teaching other hearts how to believe. So when the last page closes, don't call this the end. Every heart we've ever healed will sing our song again. If love never ends, neither do we. Stars will keep shining, the wind will keep singing, the morning will keep rising. Somewhere love will begin again. If love ever died, why do I still feel your kindness in the wind? Maybe love never left, it simply learned how to fly. window had been closed. A quiet breeze crossed through the hallway, like someone I had always known. It touched the photograph so gently, never asking where you've been. That's when my lonely heart discovered love can live without being seen. Maybe we spend too much time looking with our eyes when love has always chosen to be felt. Love became the wind, soft enough to heal me, moving through forgotten rooms, so quietly, so freely. Every breath I take still carries something true. Maybe every gentle breeze is simply love, finding another way to reach you. Blow through me again. Autumn carried golden leaves across the road we used to walk. Winter wrapped the empty branches, still remembering how we talked. Spring arrived without permission, flowers open one by one. Even every changing season held a piece of what we'd become. The wind never keeps a single place, it travels the whole world, sharing everything it carried. Love became the wind, soft enough to heal me, moving through forgotten rooms, so quietly, so freely. Every breath I take still carries something true. Maybe every gentle breeze is simply love, finding another way to reach you. Someday someone stands alone, feeling like the world has forgotten their name. I hope the wind wraps around their shoulders the way your love once wrapped around mine, because the gentlest things often save us the most. Love became the wind, never asking to be noticed, never asking to return, only choosing to keep the broken parts of us breathing. And if tomorrow someone whispers, where did all our love go? I'll smile, look toward the trees, close my eyes and answer, it's still here, you just can't see it. The leaves keep dancing even after the storm is gone. Maybe that's what love has always done. Every time something beautiful happens, my heart still looks for you. Maybe distance can't stop a heart from waving. Saw the ocean after midnight, silver dancing under moonlit skies. Without thinking I turned around, like you were standing by my side. Then I smiled at my own shadow, knowing no one else was there. Some habits never really leave us, they simply learn to become prayers. Maybe somewhere under the same sky you're smiling for a different reason. Still, I hope today has been kind to you. Somewhere my heart still waves at yours, across the miles we cannot cross. Every sunset says hello, even when our voices don't. I don't need you back again, I only hope you're smiling too. If happiness ever finds your door, tell it I quietly sent it to you. Go, be happy, I'll still cheer for you. A little girl was flying paper planes, watching every dream climb through the air. She laughed exactly like you used to. For one small second you were there. Life keeps borrowing familiar moments, just enough to warm my soul. Not to reopen old wounds, but to remind me love grows old without growing cold. Some stories never end, they simply stop using words. Somewhere my heart still waves at yours, across the miles we cannot cross. Every sunset says hello, even when our voices don't. I don't need you back again, I only hope you're smiling too. If happiness ever finds your door, tell it I quietly sent it to you. My heart still waving one last time. Somewhere my heart still waves at yours, not asking fate to turn around. Just thankful that our love taught two hearts how to recognize beauty, even when we're standing in different worlds. So whenever the sky becomes gold, I'll smile, lift my eyes and wave, just in case you are too. Across the distance, across the years, some hearts never stop saying hello. Every sunset still sets two places at the edge of the sky. Maybe the horizon never believed we said goodbye. You always loved the golden hour, when daylight slowly learned to dream. You'd say the sky looks softer whenever you looked back at me. Now every evening paints your colors orange, violet, faded blue. It's strange how every sunset still remembers you. The clouds never asked where you went, they simply kept becoming beautiful anyway. The sky still waits for us every evening without fail, stretching out another masterpiece across a silent veil. Maybe heaven keeps believing two hearts always find their way, 'cause every single sunset still saves a little light for yesterday. Wait, just one more sky. I climbed our old hill last Sunday. The grass had grown a little wild. Children chased the fading daylight, laughing like we used to smile. I thought I'd feel completely broken, standing where our shadows lay. Instead I felt your kindness moving gently with the wind away. Maybe the sky doesn't wait for people, maybe it waits for love to become light. The sky still waits for us every evening without fail, stretching out another masterpiece across a silent veil. Maybe heaven keeps believing two hearts always find their way, 'cause every single sunset still saves a little light for yesterday. Someday someone else stands here, holding the hand they prayed for. I hope the same sunset wraps around them the way it once wrapped around us, because beauty should never end. With one story, the sky still waits for us, not to bring you back again, but to remind me some promises I'll live, the people who first believed them. So every evening when the colors start to fade, I whisper thank you to the sky for never forgetting how beautiful we were. Tomorrow the sun will leave again, and somehow the sky will still be waiting. Rain remembers what people forget. I heard our laughter falling from the sky. Maybe every storm is just yesterday coming home. The sidewalk wears a silver mirror, street lights trembling in the flood. Every drop becomes a picture painted from forgotten love. I walk beneath the same old buildings, different faces passed me by, but every raindrop kept repeating pieces of our last goodbye. Nothing stayed, the cafes changed, the seasons moved, the years moved on. Only the rain still knew the melody we were We left our echoes in the rain, where every drop still knows our names. Though the world has turned the page, the sky still sings the same refrain. You are not standing next to me, yet somehow I can almost hear our hearts still dancing through the storm, like they never disappeared. Slowly carry us home. A couple shared one little umbrella, laughing as the traffic passed. I didn't envy what they carried, I just hoped their love would last. Because I know how precious moments disappear before they shine. So if they ever lose each other, may the rain be just as kind. Every goodbye leaves behind a quiet song. The heart remembers long after the words are gone. We left our echoes in the rain, where every drop still knows our names. Though the world has turned the page, the sky still sings the same refrain. You are not standing next to me, yet somehow I can almost hear our hearts still dancing through the storm, like they never disappear. You survived, love. We left our echoes in the rain, not to haunt these empty roads, but to remind the lonely hearts that love is never truly lost. Every storm will someday pass, every cloud will drift away, yet somewhere in the falling rain, our laughter still remains. Listen when the rain touches the ground, some echoes never fade, they simply become the sound of love. You never changed the whole world, you only changed the way I see it. Now everything feels softer because of you. Hold the door for strangers now, like you always used to do. Smile a little longer, even when nobody's looking. I stop to watch the birds take flight, listen when the old folks speak. Somehow life became much louder inside moments small and weak. Didn't leave me empty-handed, it quietly taught my heart how to hold the world more gently. The world became softer after you, colors found a deeper shade. Every ordinary morning feels like something heaven made. footsteps disappeared, your kindness still comes walking through. The world became softer because I once loved you. Stay inside my heart like morning light. Yesterday I bought fresh flowers for a woman standing alone. She smiled through quiet tears and whispered she had just lost home. I thought about the way you'd tell me kindness always finds its way. So I carried your voice with mine without saying your name. Maybe the greatest love isn't measured by how long two people stay. Maybe it's measured by the goodness they leave behind. The world became softer after you. Even every fallen leaf seems to live with quiet purpose, teaching broken hearts to breathe. Though we became different stories, one truth still carries through. The world became softer because I once loved you. If someday someone says you have such a gentle soul, they'll never know they're meeting the part of you that stayed inside me. The world became softer after you, not because you stayed forever, but because your love became the way I speak, the way I forgive, the way I see the beauty hidden inside ordinary days. And if our paths never cross again, I'll still thank heaven for teaching my heart that love can outlive goodbye. Some people leave without taking everything. Sometimes they leave behind the best part of who will become. We never packed our bags, we never changed our address. Somehow we still grew miles apart. You sat across the living room, I sat beside the fire. We spoke about tomorrow, but never spoke about desire. The television filled the silence filled the air. Two hearts were sharing one small house. Without arriving there, love didn't disappear, it slowly stopped knocking. We grew apart without moving, without a train or airplane, without one dramatic ending, without somebody to blame. We stayed inside the same four walls, watching strangers wear our names. Sometimes love doesn't leave all at once, it quietly changes shape. I was still holding your hand while losing you. got to stay a while. The pictures hanging in the hallway, never noticed anything, but every frame kept whispering, you used to laugh here. The longest distance I have ever known was only one conversation away. We grew apart without moving, without a train or airplane, without one dramatic ending, without somebody to blame. We stayed inside the same four walls, watching strangers wear our names. Sometimes love doesn't leave all at once, it quietly changes shape. If I could change one thing, I wouldn't ask for forever. I'd ask for one honest conversation before silence learned our voices. We grew apart without moving, yet somehow lost our way. Not because we stopped loving, but because we stopped saying the little things that kept love alive. If anyone asked how hearts can break, I'll tell them it doesn't always happen with goodbye. Sometimes it happens in silence. The hardest goodbye was never walking away. It was staying until we became strangers. If I had to lose you all over again, I'd still choose to meet you first. We never promised forever, only the next sunrise. Still somehow those ordinary mornings changed the rest of my life. You taught my hands how to stop reaching for fear. You made an ordinary heartbeat feel like music in my ears. Some people leave a memory you left, a better version of me. You were my favorite goodbye, the hardest but the most worthwhile, because loving you taught my soul how beautiful a borrowed lifetime can be. If every ending comes with a beginning, I'd still begin with you. Thank you for every hello. I don't replay the last conversation, I replay the first smile. The way the whole room disappeared when you looked into my eyes. The years have softened every wound like waves smoothing broken stone. Some people leave with empty hands, you left me a heart that finally knows. Love didn't fail, it simply finished its beautiful sentence. You were my favorite goodbye, the hardest but the most worthwhile, because loving you taught my soul we did before we knew time could run out. You were my favorite goodbye, not because losing you was easy, but because finding you made every tear a price I gladly pay. Some loves don't stay forever, they stay inside every choice that teaches us how to love again. Some people break your heart, you taught mine how to open. Your voice still finds me between my favorite songs, like it never left. Press play to fill the silence, just another lonely drive. Then an old guitar came through the speakers, and somehow, so did your smile. It wasn't in the lyrics, it wasn't in the rhyme, it was hidden in the space between the heartbeat and the chime. Funny how a melody can remember what people cannot. Your voice lives between my favorite songs, and every pause the music leaves, like summer caught inside an old refrain, still dancing through the breeze. I don't rewind to hold you close, I press play to let you fly. Some loves become a memory, some become the soundtrack of your life. Sing one more time inside the silence. Now every road has different colors, every sunset finds a tune. The songs we loved kept growing older, just like me. Without you, I don't cry when they come on now. I simply close my eyes and thank the music for keeping your laughter alive. Maybe hearts don't keep time, they keep melodies. Your voice lives between my favorite songs, and every pulse of music leaves, like summer caught inside an old refrain, still dancing through the breeze. I don't rewind to hold you close, I press play to let you fly. Some loves become a memory, some become the soundtrack of your life. And if the wind carries your harmony, maybe that's why music still feels like home. Your voice lives between my favorite songs, not trapped inside the past, but gently walking beside me with every note that lasts. One day someone else may ask me why I smile at certain melodies. I'll simply say they remind me that love never really stopped singing. The song ended, your voice didn't. I spent years blaming the stars for a goodbye they never wrote. I searched the sky for reasons, read meaning into every light. Thought maybe every constellation had stolen you that night. I asked the moon for answers, I asked the wind your name, until I learned that broken hearts don't always need someone to blame. Destiny was never cruel. Maybe life was simply life. I finally stopped blaming the stars for everything we couldn't be. They were only shining long before you ever met me. Some stories end without a villain, some dreams fade without a fight, and somehow that truth brought back the light. The sky was never against us. Now when the evening finds me, I don't count what slipped away. I count the moments I was lucky enough to call you mine. The same sky still stretches above me, but it doesn't feel so far, because peace begins the moment you stop arguing with the stars. Forgiveness sometimes starts with letting go of questions no one can answer. Finally stop blaming the stars for everything we couldn't be. They were only shining long before you ever met me. Some stories end without a villain, some dreams fade without a fight, and somehow that truth brought back the light. If we were written anywhere at all, maybe it wasn't to last forever. Maybe it was simply to teach two hearts how deeply they could love. I finally stopped blaming the stars and finally looked within. Love wasn't something I lost, it was something I was lucky to have lived. So tonight I'll thank the sky for every dawn and every dark, 'cause even broken dreams can still become beautiful memories. The stars never left me, I just finally looked up without crying. If I could hug yesterday, I wouldn't ask it to stay forever, just one more minute. old front door again. Hear your footsteps down the hall. Watch the afternoon lean slowly across the living room wall. I'd laugh before I knew the ending. Hold every ordinary sound, because the little things we hurried through were everything I miss now. Nobody knows they're living the good old days until they're gone. If I could hug yesterday, I'd never let the moment rush. I'd memorize your quiet smile instead of chasing what was next. Some memories don't ask to change, they only ask to be felt again. If I could hug yesterday, I'd simply say thank you before goodbye. One more sunset, one more laugh, that's enough. The kettle softly starts singing just the way it used to do. Funny how familiar sounds still know the road to you. The dust keeps dancing through the window. The seasons come and go, but one forgotten afternoon still blooms inside my soul. Maybe healing isn't leaving yesterday. Maybe it's carrying it with gentler hands. If I could hug yesterday, I'd never let the moment rush. I'd memorize your quiet smile instead of chasing what was next. Some memories don't ask to change, they only ask to be felt again. If I could hug yesterday, I'd simply say thank you before goodbye. I wouldn't warn us about tomorrow, I wouldn't rewrite a single page. I'd only stay long enough to notice how beautiful ordinary already was. If I could hug yesterday, I'd hold it with an open hand, because love was never meant to live inside a photograph. It lives inside the person who remembers with gratitude. If I could hug yesterday, I'd let it go with a smile. Yesterday, thank you for becoming the reason I still believe in love. Thank you for the life we almost had. It was beautiful anyway. We never reached that little house we dreamed about in spring. Never watched our children running barefoot through the leaves. But somehow all those borrowed dreams still taught my heart to grow. Some futures never happen, yet they leave the deepest Maybe forever was never measured by years. Maybe it was measured by how deeply we loved. Thank you for the life we almost had, for every dream we used to draw. Even though tomorrow chose a different road from ours, it didn't stay forever, but forever isn't always long. Sometimes forever is one heart learning how to love. Thank you for everything we almost became. I don't wonder what if anymore. I wonder how was I so lucky to have someone who changed the way the world looked to me. Now every sunrise feels softer, every stranger wears a smile, because loving you once changed the language of my life. Some people become memories, some people become the reason you believe again. Thank you for the life we almost had, for every dream we used to draw. Even though tomorrow chose a different road from ours, you didn't stay forever, but forever isn't always long. Sometimes forever is one heart learning how to love. Someday we meet again. Don't apologize, don't explain, just smile the way you did the very first day we found each other, because that smile still lives inside every good thing I've become. Carries your light, and if this is where our story ends, let the final word never be goodbye. Let it be thank you. Some loves don't stay to last forever, they stay change you forever. Forever. The chair across the table still waits for you, like nobody ever told it you weren't coming home. still set out 2 coffee cups and quietly put one away. Old habits don't ask permission, they simply choose to stay. Morning finds the window first, evening finds my hands, reaching for another story that never gets to land. Funny how empty spaces can still feel completely full of someone. The chair across the table knows your name by heart. You watched us build 1,000 dreams before they fell apart. Now every quiet dinner carries echoes in the air. Love isn't always sitting down, sometimes it lives inside an empty chair. Sometimes the soup gets cold a little faster when no one's telling jokes. Even silence sounds familiar in the house we used to know. I don't cry the way I used to. Grief has learned a softer tone. It doesn't shout across the room, it simply pulls up a chair. Some people leave a room, some people leave a space that keeps loving them. The chair across the table knows your name by heart. It watched us build 1,000 dreams before they fell apart. Now every quiet dinner carries echoes in the air. Love isn't always sitting down, sometimes it lives inside an empty chair. One day someone else may sit there and I'll smile without feeling guilty, because loving again will never erase the kindness you left behind. The chair across the table isn't lonely anymore. It reminds me love can leave without taking everything. If someone asks where you are now, I'll point to every gentle thing you taught my heart to become. Some chairs hold people, some chairs hold love. Yesterday, my heart stopped screaming. Today, it finally learned to whisper. I wore the silence like a coat I couldn't lose. Every room still kept your shadow, every window held your view. I counted every sunrise like it owed me something new. But healing never knocked, it quietly walked in without my noticing. Maybe peace doesn't arrive like thunder, Maybe it sounds like breathing again. The day my heart learned to whisper, I finally heard my own name. Not through all the hurt you left, but through the hope that still remained. Love didn't leave me empty, it left a light inside. Now every scar reminds me I survived, because I loved with all my life. It's okay to miss you and still move forward. The photograph upon my shelf no longer asks me why. It simply smiles the way it did before we said goodbye. I don't need every answer, I don't need to understand. Some stories teach us how to fall, others teach us how to stand. The loudest tears eventually become the quiet strength you carry. The day my heart learned to whisper, I finally heard my own name. Not through all the hurt you left, but through the hope that still remained. Love didn't leave me empty, it left a light inside. Now every scar reminds me I survived, because I loved with all my If I could meet the person who first lost you, I'd tell them you won't always cry this hard. One morning you'll smile before you realize you smiled, and that's when healing begins. The day my heart learned to whisper was the day I found my way. Not away from all our memories, but toward a brighter place. You'll always be a chapter that kindness chose to write, and every page that follows carries a little of your life. Some hearts don't heal by forgetting, they heal by learning to beat softly again. I wrote you 1,000 last words, then realized you didn't need to read them for me to heal. The paper slowly turned to yellow, folded inside an old drawer. Every sentence chased an answer I don't chase anymore. I crossed out every accusation, every question, every blame, until all that still remained was quietly your name. Maybe closure isn't something someone gives. Maybe it's something love learns to become. The letter I never needed to send finally taught my heart to rest. Some apologies never arrive, yet somehow life still says keep breathing. I don't need the ending explained, because forgiveness found me first. Some words One conversation could bring the pieces home. Now I know some broken stories bloom where they're unknown. Your silence stopped feeling heavy, mine stopped asking why. Peace arrived so quietly, I almost missed its footsteps. The strongest hearts aren't the ones that never break, they're the ones that learn to open again. The letter I never needed to send finally taught my heart to rest. Some apologies never arrive, yet somehow life still says keep breathing. I don't need the ending explained, because forgiveness found me first. If you ever think of me, don't remember the unanswered questions. Remember the quiet kindness we almost forgot to give ourselves. The letter I never needed to send still lives inside this song. Not as a goodbye, not as regret, but as proof that love can become gentleness. If every wound leaves a window, then thank you for teaching my heart how to let the light back in. I folded the letter, closed the drawer, opened my heart. The rain fell today, and for the first time it didn't remind me of losing you. There was a season every storm carried echoes of your name. Every window wore your shadow, every cloud looked just the same. But this morning I watched raindrops gather softly on the glass. They weren't asking where you were, they were simply falling. Maybe healing isn't forgetting the rain. Maybe it's finally feeling the sky again. The rain doesn't ask about you anymore, it only sings against the roof. The wind no longer carries questions, it simply tells the truth. Love will always leave its footprints, but they don't have to lead me back. Now every rainy afternoon feels like peace instead of looking back. Let it fall, let it wash, let it stay. I walk the road we used to follow, umbrella in my hand. The puddles held the same reflections, but I finally understood. The world was never waiting, it was gently moving on. And somehow, without asking, so was I. Some memories become rivers, they don't disappear. disappear, they simply learn to flow. The rain doesn't ask about you anymore, it only sings against the roof. The wind no longer carries questions, it simply tells the truth. Love will always leave its footprints, but they don't have to lead me back. Now every rainy afternoon feels like peace instead of looking back. If tomorrow brings another storm, I'll open every window, not because I'm waiting for you, but because I've learned even the darkest clouds know how to leave. It still reminds me to breathe. Some hearts heal not by forgetting, but by making room for both the hurt and the hope. Now every drop feels less like goodbye and more like proof that after every storm, the sky still remembers how to shine. The rain didn't stop my heart, just finally learned how to listen.